What's going on, guys? This is Berz. I want to talk to you today about the Haley Strategic light mount. This is the Thorntail. It's my favorite light mount. You're going to spend a good buck getting it, but you're going to get a very good quality part. I initially had some problems with it. I'll annotate the video right here. But they went ahead and sent me some parts. These are the old parts. They sent me a new arm and new screws, which was the culprit in the previous configuration that I had it in. I took it out originally and ran about 400 or 500 rounds through it, and it was wobbling all around and loose and whatever. And I contacted them, and they sent me replacement parts, which work wonderful. Don't have a problem with them. And actually, the screw went in a little bit easier on this set. So, customer service-wise, they're going to take care of you, which is very key in my book. Made in USA, 100% Berry compliant, which means they don't even think of foreign places at all when it comes to manufacturing their ideas. Okay, Berry compliant means the paper like you buy for your company doesn't come from anywhere but the US. It's a really good compliance to have. It's made of the 6061 T6 aluminum, so you're going to get a huge durability and longevity out of this light mount. The way I have it on here, which is my go-to gun, is I have an Ultimac AK rail with the Aimpoint T1 Aimpoint T1 and a Surefire G2X flashlight. And what this Haley Strategic light mount does is it gets the flashlight out towards the barrel. There's a couple keys to having great flashlight usage on your gun, and getting it as tight into the gun as you can and as far out on the gun as you can are two of the higher points that you want to look for in a flashlight mount. And that's kind of what this does for you. It does that without interfering with, at least on this setup, with the Ultimac and the micro red dot. It doesn't get in the way of the co-witness. So I can be on target and I do not have that light mount getting in the way of my sights. So my sight goes down, I can co-witness, you know, I don't have that in the way whatsoever. It gets it tight into the gun, number two, which is good because, you know, you want to have everything. For me, I've gone from the kind of person that wants to have everything on my gun, including a cappuccino maker, to someone who wants to streamline things out. You know, I have another AK here. This is the one I took to Arizona last time, and you know, I had a lot of stuff on here. You know, I have an AFG on here, I have my light, I got a QD mount, I had other stuff on here prior to this, which I took off because I'm trying to streamline it a little bit more like this one. But as you can see, the flashlight is about 3 inches further back. If you look at the mount, don't look at the flashlight, the flashlight's smaller. If you look at the mount and where the button is, you're looking at a good, I say, 2 inches. So 2 inches more forward is where the button is on the Haley. And that's a good thing because you want to get that out as far as you can. So you're coming on target here, bam, you know, you can get on target pretty easily. With something like this, which is a Viking Tactics light mount, it's bulky, okay, it's plastic, that's metal, but the metal of that does not weigh really anything more than the plastic of this. It's very small and light, the Haley Strategic. This Viking Tactics, on the other hand, yeah, it's plastic and it's really light, and it's durable. I've used it, I haven't any problems, but it's bulky as shit. And you know, that's why I went away from it for this setup here. Does it work? Yeah, it holds it in there. I never had a problem with it, but it's bulky. I can't put it on this side, or my thumb's gonna be so high up off of this rail. You know, I'm just not gonna, you know, I'm not gonna like it. It's not the way I like to run it. Yeah, you want to have your hand in here, and you want to have it, you know, your thumb straight, but you don't want to be, you know, all kinds of craziness going on. And I can do that with this setup here with no problem. I can get on that, you know, setup, and boom, there, you know. But anyway, that's a setup thing. That's a weapon-like thing. But yeah, so you're looking at something bulky if you're going to plastic. There are different options, you know, for you going to a flashlight. that try to mimic what the Haley does by attaching this part and that part. You have some offset mounts you can get and then attach a light mount to them. And it's just going to be a ton of different damn parts that you're going to be adding onto your gun. When in reality, you could just buy a Haley strategic light mount and have that all done. Okay? So let me give you a closer look at this now. Alright guys, here's a closer look at the Haley strategic Thorntail light mount. It comes with this little paper, a little pamphlet that tells you how to put it together. Pretty straightforward. What happens is you have this part here, which is flat, and what that does is it comes across and hooks on the other side. Then you have the arm here that goes in this position like this, and here's your screw holes in the bottom, and that zips in there through these screws right here. And it screws in there pretty good, even though I did have a problem with the first one I had. They sent me the second one, and this was the problematic one right here. And the problem was, keeping it screwed in there, it wouldn't stay, it would loosen up. Haven't had any problem with the second one, but they sent me the new parts and haven't had a problem. So let's get down to the actual mount itself now. As you can see, it's very thin. You can see that you can't even see it through the optic here, and that's the key. You might get a little bit of here, but I mean, if you look at the majority of the optic there, you're not seeing the light mount, which is good. The field of view is not blocked, yet you're getting this light as far in the gun as possible and as far out as possible. I want the SBR one. Because when I'm on the gun and my thumb's right here, it's a good position for me to just come up here and get the light on. Okay, getting the regular one, it would have been a little bit further forward. I guess I could have mounted a little bit further back. Whatever. I want the SBR one. I might get a regular one just for comparison in the future. I hook it up and see how that is. Just a difference of opinion, not a difference of opinion, but I might just get the regular one and move it back a little bit more and mess around with the configuration, because that's what we do with our guns, is we tweak them for through our entire lives. We just tweak our guns left and right. So when it comes down to the rings, they have different rings. They have like this is a 1-inch ring. They have different size rings for different size diameters of your flashlight. And the one thing I'm going to say about that is one side of the ring is a little bit thinner than another side, which is a little bit chunkier. And the thinner side you want to have towards your optic, and your chunkier one side you want to have on the bottom, not towards the optic. There's two reasons why for that. Number one, it tightens down a lot easier. And number two, it gets it out of the way of your optic. I've seen some guys trying to put this on and they're putting it reversely and they're going, oh, it's in my optic, or they're saying, oh, it doesn't tighten down right, or it doesn't tighten down to where it has gaps, and I'm like, well, you gotta like put the chunkier side on underneath, because that's how you have to do it. So that's one thing that I did notice with that initially. With the exception of that, I mean, it's made of 6061 T6 aluminum, so you're getting durability, longevity with this optic. It has a pretty cool, it has the Haley strategic logo on the top here. So, on top of being a cool thing, you're just gonna have a cool looking, Haley strategic logo on top. It's streamlined, and that's what I like about it the most. When you compare it to something like my example here of the Viking Tactics, it looks like, hey, look, yeah, I just threw that on there, and I'm gonna be changing this gun around at some point. But this is the way I have it right now. And is it, does it work? I mean, yeah, it works. I have the light here. If I gotta turn the light on, I can do that, underneath like such. I can come around the top here real quick. But it doesn't flow, okay? And for the amount that you're paying for that, which is around $30, I think, spend twice as much for the Haley, which is a dynamic light mount, and that's the key, is what I'm trying to get across here, is you have dynamic and static light mounts. in my opinion, and this is more of a dynamic one, you know, it has an arm on it. You don't see any light mount like this out there. I mean, you can try and replicate it with using maybe 2 different parts, with having an offset mount and then using something else, but you know, this is an innovative product for the most part. And when you get it, you're gonna know you have quality in your hand. With something like this, I would call this a static light mount. Boom, it sits right there and it's chunky and you can't really do much with it. With the Haley, you can put it in different configurations. There's a lot you can do with it. It's very dynamic in that aspect, in my opinion. And like I said, you know, you can't see it through. You're gonna bump the camera because that's how a professional does it. You can't see it through the optic. So your red dot goes out, you know, or something like that. It's not in your way, and that's what I think the intention was with it. Because I've seen it run like this by Mr. Haley, as well as some other people. So you know, it fits my setup and it works, and you know, it's not going anywhere. If I take this and move it around, you know, I can just hold on to this all by itself and move it around. It's not going anywhere. I mean, it is bulletproof in that aspect. So, if you guys have any questions, go ahead, let me know. If you got one, go ahead and put it in the comments down there. Video response is always welcome. Until next time, later.